Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
Okay.
We here. Hold on, let's get some horns.
Get some horns? Okay.
Let's get some horns for multiple reasons. I don't know how good y'all can hear that on the camera, but whatever. Let me play some more horns, man, because it's a reason. It's a reason. All right, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B, man. What's up, man?
All right,
how you been doing, man?
So I've been great, man. I've been great. So we took a week off last week, not because we didn't want to be here, but I had to travel. I had to go to San Antonio for my nephew's All-American game. But the other thing was I got my braces off, man.
Oh, hey,
This is the first show. I don't got no braces on. And I got a retainer in, which I probably should have taken out. But I'm going to try and do the show with a retainer in and see how it goes.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
We're going to see.
Hey, I mean, if it doesn't work, next week you just
or in the middle of the show.
Just take it out.
Yeah, but I did want to talk about real quick last weekend. Shout out to my nephew Adon Schuler. He started in the All-American game, the Adidas All-American game. And he had six other teammates that's going to be at Notre Dame with him. He's actually going. He's an early enrollee, so he'll be in school this weekend and starting class next week as a college student.
That's got to be an amazing experience. Just to be an All-American,
absolutely,
and to go through. You get to travel for the game. I'm pretty sure Adidas gave him. Loaded him up with.
They had. Let me tell you, they gave him sneakers, cleats, slides. I think either 3 or 4 sweatsuits. And then for the game, they gave him all the equipment, the gloves, the sleeve, the back flap, everything, socks.
And they get to keep everything.
Yeah. They don't give anything. And I'm almost certain that they don't want to get the stuff back.
Right.
All those kids. But that was my first time in the Alamo Dome. It was pretty dope. Then I took my nephews to the Spurs. The Spurs played the Celtics.
Okay.
So a couple of them, they hadn't been to any games before, any NBA games. So that was an experience. Me and my youngest nephew, we went to we were calling some of the plays for the Celtics. So that's probably why the Spurs came back. But that's neither here nor there.
You know what? And I want to challenge you on this, right?
Okay.
I don't know if there's 2 teams I hate more in the NBA than the Celtics and Spurs.
I've
always had respect for Greg Popovich. You have to have respect for him.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's the greatest coach of all time.
Who's better? Or is that another discussion?
I think that's a whole different discussion. I personally think you always will have to go Red Auerbach.
Why? I don't think that's the case.
You don't think that's the case because of all his championships?
No, it was an 8-team league.
So I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this. I've always felt that Greg Popovich was a better coach than Phil Jackson.
And
a lot of people are going to disagree with me.
No. So it's tough for me to say that, but if there's any person that I have to say is equal to is Greg Popovich. Now it's not hard pressed for me to say that he's the best ever. I mean, the things that he's done. The only thing that I don't like that he's brought to the game
is the resting.
Yes,
the resting of the players. He has definitely brought that. He was ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
Greg Popovich was resting players 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
And I mean, he was on to something. Phil Jackson, where would you rate Phil Jackson?
Up two.
So
if he's not one,
so you got Greg Popovich, and then you have Phil Jackson,
and then everybody else.
I think that's fair.
I mean, and everybody else. I think that Greg Popovich did beat Phil Jackson in the finals. No, he didn't. And Phil Jackson actually won that conference finals. I mean, they've gone back and forth, but I mean, they're 1-2. They're 1-2. However you want to seat them is
So this is the stain on Phil Jackson, and we do it a lot in sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we'll take athletes and we'll ding them for things that are out of their control. Right. So with Phil Jackson, it's like, you know what? You coach Michael Jordan, you coach Kobe Bryant, you coach Shaquille O'Neal, you coach Scottie Pippen. You were supposed to win, right? But that's not necessarily
always
fair.
The case,
right? What he didn't do for himself to disregard that notion is he never got it done with just a regular team, like a team that he built up from the ground up, that he could say it wasn't already established before it got there. I think that, in my opinion, he's the greatest coach to get you to the next level.
Who was?
Phil Jackson.
Okay.
Like if you got a team, same thing with Steve Kerr, right?
Right.
Mark Jackson built that team with the Warriors. No question about it.
Absolutely.
You have to give Mark Jackson his respect. Would they have won with Mark Jackson? Probably not. I feel like Steve Kerr took the team to the next level. Okay. Same thing with Phil Jackson.
Right.
Michael Jordan, we could say he was going to figure it out without Phil Jackson. Maybe he doesn't. You know,
you're right. No, I agree. I mean, the fact that you named Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Scotty, don't leave off Tony Kukoc, Rodman, those are a lot of egos. Those are a lot of different personalities. And the fact that he was able to win so much with those guys says a lot about him, because it's not easy winning with a lot of big personalities. You know, Popovich didn't have that problem.
No, but he had good players. So I think a lot of times when we look at Phil Jackson, we discredit him because he had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Shaq. Mm-hmm. Well, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, like Kawhi Leonard,
and a ton of other like role players that he got the most out of.
Those guys aren't just
yeah. So I agree. Somehow we got to Phil versus the other coach.
Well, I will say there's one last thing with it. The reason why I consider Pop a better coach is I felt like his level of consistency, he maintained it for a lot longer. And I think he adjusted to the different eras of the way basketball was played. Okay. He adjusted his coaching style to fit whatever the era was demanding. Right. So that's why I give him a little bit more credit.
All right. So how was your weekend?
Man, my weekend was pretty good. It was highlighted by the fact that I got to go to the Cowboys Commanders game. I mean, shoot.
I forgot all about that. We did go there.
I hadn't been in FedEx Field. I hadn't been to FedEx Field since maybe 2011. I went out there. I went out there when the 49ers came to town. And that was the last time I had been there. Nothing had changed. It was the same FedEx that I remembered it. But, yeah, that game, man, it was a good experience.
It was a good experience to be there. The game itself, to me, and I mean, we could get into football because we're getting ready to talk about the playoffs. It felt like a preseason game. Um, it felt like a preseason game for the Cowboys, but not for Washington. Not trying to discredit anything that they did because they did what they were supposed to do, and they put boot that but one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is the play calling of the Cowboys, right? There was you didn't see any linemen pulling. You didn't even see a play that they run damn near every game where they go multiple tight ends, they play action, roll out, and throw it to the tight end. They didn't even run that play. They didn't run any screens, which they run a ton of, So to me, it was like we're gonna keep the play calling as basic as possible and just play football. It didn't seem like there was any sort of game plan, and it just was like.
And see, that's why I would disagree with you on. I think that's why a lot of people think that if Mike McCarthy loses, he's going to be out. I totally disagree with that he should be out if the Cowboys lose. But I think a lot of people are starting to look at, is he part of the problem? I personally don't think he's part of the problem. I think it's unfair to put the blame on him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different contributing factors that went into that performance, went into the season. It's a lot of other coaches that are not on the hot seat that have had way less records or worse records than Mike McCarthy. So I don't think he should be on the hot seat, but I think what you're saying, and you're right, the play calling was so abysmal. I mean, it was terrible that people are starting to question, does Mike McCarthy know what he's doing?
Well, we all know that Mike McCarthy knows what he's doing.
He's a Super Bowl.
Let's not act like he hasn't won 24 games in 2 seasons. Like let's not act like he didn't lose his starting quarterback for 5 games this year and went 4-1. I hear a lot about the Cowboys are playing bad this last month of the year. And I'm thinking to myself in December, what was the Cowboys' record in December? It was 3-1. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? It was 3-1. So I think that you want to be playing at your best, right? But is losing which we at the beginning of the game we didn't know that it was meaningless, but I think players know players, and they know good and goddamn well that the Giants weren't playing any of their starters, and the Cardinals stink. So it was and just this past just a week before, Washington had a shot to continue to be in the playoff chase, but we'll get to that in a second.
So let me ask you something, and this is a very important question. And I've been holding this question because I wanted to ask you. Do you consider Sean Payton a better coach than Mike McCarthy?
I'll say this. Sean Payton is he doesn't have the stain that Mike McCarthy has. But if you look at their credentials,
it's right there.
Yeah, what's the difference? If I'm not mistaken, I think that Sean Payton has less wins than Mike McCarthy's been coaching longer, but I don't. My thing is if we had Sean Payton as a coach today or this season, we probably still had 12 wins. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we've seen Sean Payton won Super Bowl. I think he won a Super Bowl the year after Mike McCarthy. Ain't been back since. Got to conference championships, but we can't. I don't want to just say, we get rid of Mike McCarthy and bring in Sean Payton, and all our problems are fixed, because I don't think that's necessarily the case.
So Sean Payton gets an unfair bump, right? And his unfair bump
I wouldn't say it's an unfair bump.
Well, I want to tell you what his unfair bump is.
Okay.
Drew Brees.
Right.
And I want to tell you why. Drew Brees, when he was a Saint, took every penny that he could take. If it was guaranteed money to be had, it went to Drew Brees. What that did was it limited their ability to bring in free agents to where if you look at it, all the Saints' top performers were homegrown talent. Now it says a lot about their front office. It says a lot about maybe Sean Payton.
Right.
But I think a lot of people look at that, whereas if Drew Brees would have maybe gave them the Tom Brady discount, could they have been more competitive and would they have had more Super Bowls with that?
Right.
I totally agree. I like Sean Payton. I'm becoming more and more of a McCarthy fan. I don't know if it's – I personally wouldn't fire Mike McCarthy to get Sean Payton. I think you're right.
Right.
12 wins is a lot of wins. Regardless of however you want to slice it up, 12 wins is a lot of wins. I don't think a coach should get fired for winning 12 games.
Yeah. But again, it's this whole Cowboys thing. Now let's go to where we was talking about, because we wanted to talk about coaches on the hot, or who should be on the hot seat, and I guess this is a good segue, right? So you don't think Mike McCarthy should be on the hot, and I don't either. I think that when you have someone who has done what he's done, you don't just fire him. Now Jerry Jones said that it's, Mike McCarthy has his backing. That's fine. Now some coaches that should be on the hot seat that haven't gotten fired yet, that coach with the Chargers, right? I think Staley.
If he loses, and while we're at Sean Payton, if he loses, if Staley loses, that job becomes the hottest job to me. If I'm Sean Payton, maybe I can't get the same thing that I could get in Dallas, but that's the job I want. Is that job?
Yeah, I mean, you got the golden boy at quarterback. You got some good receivers. You got Austin Eckler, who's arguably he's top 3 running back, top 2.
Right.
But he's so underrated. Other coaches are on the hot seat. Well, the Colts already. Well, they said they're gonna keep. He's gonna get an interview. I don't think he's gonna get the job.
Who, Jeff Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get the job. But that, I don't really consider that a hot seat. Who would you consider on a hot seat right now that hasn't been fired yet?
I think Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. I know that's a cop out because we were just talking about him, and I know we both agree that he shouldn't be on the hot seat. But I think he's on the hot seat. I
think you gotta with the Raiders.
Oh yeah, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah,
I think they'll give him more of an opportunity. But this year, I want to tell you a couple other people, right? If the 49ers lose, Kyle Shanahan's name.
You think so? I don't think so. I think Kyle Shanahan's job is safe.
It's safe this year.
Okay.
But that seat gets hotter. So the way football is now, and me and you have talked about it, right? To where we disagree with it a lot, is you look at a lot of coaches that were able to come in and have success within 3 years.
Right.
You look at Zach Taylor, right? You look at Sean McVay. You look at Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
Let me see. Who else has been able to come in and really just get to where they need to go in a relatively short time?
I mean, you got with the
well, I said
Eagles.
The Bengals coach.
Eagles.
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson, and then you got what you call it, Sirianni.
Right. So you look at coaches.
Gable.
Yeah. So you look at coaches like that, right? And you say that if I give you the talent, 3 years is long enough to get it done. Now, to me, it only could be one winner.
Right.
Certain things go certain ways to where sometimes it's not on the coach. It's not on the players. It just wasn't in the cards
Right.
for that team to win
Right.
that day. Do I blow it all up to try to bring in somebody else? I don't think so. But I think a lot of teams are starting to look at their coaches and looking like, look, I'm giving you what you need or what I think you need.
Right.
No excuses, get it done. So I look at like Kyle Shanahan, right? I like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan can be my coach for a long time. I love what him and John Lynch are doing.
Right.
But at some point, if we've mortgaged the future, we've given up all these picks, we've given you every single thing that you want, eventually that seat's going to be hot. And really, honestly, I think depending on how if we lose,
Well, win, because
well, I think we'll beat Seattle. But I am a little terrified of Seattle because of Pete Carroll and them playing in our division. I think that they have the team that if there was a team out there that was going to upset us, it would be them. With that being said, I still think we win. But let's say we do lose that game. Most people are going to say, yeah, he had a third stringer, but that should have been a winnable game that you should have won regardless. So then you start bringing in the question to where, okay, it's not the talent. And you have this very, very, very small window to where you've got to be able to get it done. And you start questioning, hey, is this guy the right guy? Is he the one that's going to take us to the promised land? So I think where I was going with this is depending on how we perform in the playoffs will dictate next year for Kyle Shanahan. The guy for the Titans. Variable, yeah.
You think he's on a hot seat?
Yeah, I think it's close. It's
doubt
getting
it.
hot.
Yeah, it's lukewarm. So I just want to follow up on what you just said about Kyle Shanahan. I just want to let everybody know this is what Scott does. Kind of almost like, I don't want to say, it's his team. So he has more of a focus on that team. But I've seen him do this with Alex Smith. I've seen him do it with Vernon Davis. I've seen him do it with multiple people within the 49ers organization. And it's almost like he's trying to do this reverse psychology. So just in case they do lose, just that little bit, he's taking a little bit of that oomph of what I can or cannot say, because he's gonna say, well, I told you that shit already. I said it already. So
So okay. So let's move the argument. That's with all that being said. That's what I personally think. There is no way in the world we should lose this game.
I agree.
No excuses.
I agree.
And I stand behind my team 100%.
Right.
They got to go get it done.
Hey, yo, Scott is nervous, yo. Scott, you're nervous about this Seattle game. And here's why I say that. Because when you start doing this with your fingers, they got you thinking, because it's like, damn, we beat them twice. That second game, I think it was a lot closer. You say it wasn't as close as the score was, but I thought it was a lot closer. I think defensively, Seattle is they have a pulse of your offense. Now, I'll say this: Debo played that game. Is that the game Debo got hurt?
Debo didn't play that game.
He didn't play that game. So I think that was Brock Purdy's second start, because it was after the Tampa game. I personally think you guys are going to win this game.
I do too, but I've learned over the years, over the decades, never count Pete Carroll out. I don't know what Geno Smith is about. Yeah. I don't know what DK Metcalf. I don't know what Kenneth Walker is. Tyler Lockett. But Pete Carroll, you can't bet against that man. Well, I mean, I'm going to bet against him, but it's He's a crafty coach.
All right, so real quick, let's make a pick for that game. San Francisco, Seattle in the score.
Oh, San Francisco 38.
God!
12.
Hey, yo. That sounds like the Buffaloes, but we'll get to that score soon anyway.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see it as a blowout. I think he literally just built up Pete Carroll and said you can't, and then said they win by 26. Yeah, no, I don't even think either team gets to 26. I think we still have to take into account that this is Brock Purdy's first playoff start, and I know he did all of that stuff in the regular season, and he's going to be a finalist for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I totally get that, but I see that game a lot closer, and I think it's somewhere around like 19-17 or something like that, whereas it's a one-score game, and you guys get a stop and they don't get a chance to kick the field goal.
You know who's going to be the difference in this game? It's going to all rest on Geno Smith's shoulders. If Geno Smith can get into a flow and he can figure us out and he can keep the game close, you got a ball game. If we get to Geno Smith and we start rattling him, because that's what's happened the last two games, is the pass rush has gotten to him and made him make mistakes. And that's why I got the score so high on us, because
I'm scoring 38 points.
I think we're going to score 38 points.
You want to place a bet? You want to make a bet on it?
I'll bet on the team. I'm not betting on the score.
Okay, let's go. Let's do one more NFC score. Vikings Giants.
Ooh.
Because we're going to get into the winner of the week. And then let's do a couple more scores, and then we get into the winner of the week.
Okay. Ooh. Vikings 28. Giants 27.
Okay. So I also have the Vikings. But I think the Vikings win like 27-13.
Okay. I mean
27-13.
Yeah.
So
you don't think the Giants got it in them?
No, I think it'll be close at first, but I think the Vikings learned from the first time they played the Giants, and they're gonna
I just don't see, and maybe they carry this momentum going into the playoffs, how people are going to be able to stop Jefferson, Hawkinson, Osborne, and Cook.
I've seen it done, but
I mean, we've all seen it done. But if they're all firing on one accord, that team could be a very tough team.
Absolutely. Last NFC game, Cowboys Bucks.
I have you guys winning. So I got the Cowboys. I'm going to say 24-21.
All right. I have 24-15. I have 24-15. Cowboys win. Damn, Charles got 28-0. I'm gonna put that on the screen. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, Charles has it 28-0?
Yeah, Cowboys. That's high. It's to say we're gonna shut out Brady is. I mean, I think we're gonna get to Brady. So here's where the game is gonna turn. Todd Bowles likes to blitz his DBs. Well, I think that's where the problem is going to be, because I know, Dak he's been getting a lot of what you call it, like criticism or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's fine. I think that game last week is going to be the launch that he needs for this playoff run. And I think Dak comes out firing on all cylinders. I think we are able to run the ball and get stops when they're needed. And now they have Brady and
this game for Dak Prescott, it couldn't be a more important game. It's going to be a career-defining moment for him. What I mean by that is you look at the Cowboy quarterbacks, right? Look at Staubach. He did it. So Dak is 29. Right. Staubach did it at 29. Aikman, I believe, had 3 at 29.
Okay.
Dak's 29. And right now, what I see in him, and I hope it's not the case, and there's nothing wrong with this, because any other team would be more than happy to take this, is his career is heading down a Tony Romo-ish path. And what I mean by that is that he's got the statistics. His team was competitive. He was an elite quarterback when he played, but it didn't equate to any playoff wins or Super Bowls. He has the opportunity this playoffs to change that narrative, because right now you've got a lot of lesser quarterbacks that are in there. I mean, you got Tom Brady on his last leg. You got Brock Purdy. You got
you're talking about for the NFC.
For the NFC.
Yeah, Geno Smith, Hurts. Yeah, it's not murderer's row for quarterbacks.
For quarterbacks. And if you're looking at it, if you're him, this is probably the best opportunity, maybe not from a team standpoint, but as far as like before like everybody starts coming in the NFC and improving their quarterback situation, this is your time to eat.
Yeah.
And I think if he loses, the pressure is going to start, not necessarily to cave in on him, and I'm not going to say that he can't turn it around, but he's going to start feeling more of that hot seat that Mike McCarthy is feeling.
That's fair. I'll say I like, if let's just say that the Cowboy, if our picks go as they are, Cowboys will have to play the Eagles in the second round, and I love it because now we get to see Dak versus Jalen Hurts, and it's gonna be, so we would have to go from Tom Brady to Jalen Hurts, loss of both of those quarterbacks in the regular season, and then in the NFC Championship, it would either have to be Kirk Cousins or Brock Purdy. I mean, like you said, it's not murderer's row, and you know, you got that I think the Cowboys, this is just how I am as an athlete. I want to get my get back. So, you know, the 49ers are on their mind, right? And the Eagles. I mean, this division foe, and now you got the tiebreaker, right? So, I do agree. I do agree that it's gonna be this is gonna be a big playoffs for Dak. So, I mean, again, if it was anybody else, people wouldn't be talking about, but he's the quarterback for the Cowboys. So they're gonna talk. They're gonna talk about Dak like crazy. All right, so let's get to the winner of the week, and then we'll get back to some more of the playoff shenanigans. All right.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so look, my winner of the week this week is the Houston Texans. In case you guys didn't know, the Houston Texans are really probably the sorriest team in the NFL, despite what the record says. But their coach did a great job of making them competitive this season. This team was stripped of talent just because they had an incompetent coach and GM named Bill O'Brien that managed to trade all of their assets away and not get anything for them. On top of that, they managed to, their only bright spot, they figured out how to trade him away. And for whatever reason, when they look at this team, they see something that I just don't see. I see a team that's rotating third string and practice squad quarterbacks at best. They've got Braden Cooks. I mean, he's good. They got a rookie in Damian Pierce, but other than that, their defense sucks. The offense sucks. But the one thing that I will give them is those guys had a sense of pride, and they played you tough each week. And there was nothing that I saw out of Lovie Smith that showed that this team couldn't improve without him. I felt like they got it right by making him the coach. And just for to fire him after 1 year, I thought it was terrible, man. I thought it was crazy. What are your thoughts?
You got time?
I got time.
Me too. So, Lovie Smith. First of all, shout out to Lovie. Now let's get some horns for Lovie Smith, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Lovie Smith, I think he had a feeling. I mean, he's in the building. We're not. I think he had a feeling that they was going to let him go, right? Maybe they had a conversation with him, and I feel like he said, you know what, we're going to win this game. And he gave those guys whatever pep talk he had to give them. And what made you know that he was on his way out was when they scored that last touchdown, and he was like, you know what, like I said earlier, we ain't going overtime. We go for two. We're going to win this game. We're going to get the hell up out of here. And they got the 2-point conversion, went up, won the game. Now on his way out, instead of them having the number 1 pick, they got the number 2 pick, right? And like now, if you want the number 1 pick, you're gonna have to spend for it. You're gonna have to trade some assets or whatever. And I don't think that Houston is gonna do that, mainly because the Bears have their quarterback, so they know Bryce Young it should be available if they want Bryce Young, or CJ Stroud, because they got the number 2 pick.
So let's go back to that for a second, because you brought up a really good point. And you can get back to your other point, tanking in sports. Somebody brought that topic to us, and they wanted to get our thoughts on it. I won't let you make the rest of your point, but I definitely didn't want to forget that.
Yeah. So I feel like it's classless. I think that now there's so much pressure, or there's going to be added pressure for the Texans to not fire a coach after 1 year again, that they can't. Whoever they hire next, they can't, because you just hired 2 black coaches and you fired them after 1 year, after not giving them any adequate pieces to be successful. You had the situation with Deshaun Watson. You moved on from it, and you brought in Lovie Smith, and didn't really have any sort of plan. They just hired him because they couldn't get anybody else, and went on their business that way. Didn't improve the team. Actually made the team worse during the season, and so it just looks like it's classless on the Texans' part. Now, what's going to end up happening? I hope I'm wrong, but they're going to end up hiring a white coach. There's no way they're going to hire 3 black coaches in a row. If that happens, I'll be as shocked as possible. I feel like they're gonna hire a white coach. They're gonna hire a white coach, and they're gonna pay him whatever they pay him, right? Because first of all, if I was a first-time head coach, don't know if this is the job I would take, but sometimes it's only 32 jobs, so you got to take it. And whoever it is, hopefully it's a black coach. Hopefully it's D'Amico Ryans, right? They get that job, and they're going to be there at least 3 years, 4 years.
So I think they are going to hire a black coach. I think what they're going to do is they're going to hire a black coach, and when they start getting the pieces where they need to get the pieces, they'll fire that coach and put in who they want.
But who's going to? So you got the guys like Sean Payton, because you're going to need somebody there. You're going to need somebody there to rebuild that whole program. You got to hire a GM and a coach, right? And first of all, the GM resigning because of health issues. You in Houston with the Texans, those were your health issues. But I hope that is nothing serious. But they gotta hire a GM. They gotta hire a coach that Lynch and Shanahan, right? I think that duo right there is second to none. I like the way that is set up. They came in together. They're lockstep together and everything. So they need something like that. They have to. Here's just a thought, right? I don't even know if they're cool or whatever. Bring in Lewis Riddick as your general manager, right?
Okay.
And then you go get a D'Amico Ryans as your head coach and let them do what they got to do. And let's see, because Lewis Riddick is a smart man, right? And I feel like he knows what he's doing. And I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be a hell of a head coach. And it don't even got to be D'Amico Ryans. I just
you know what the problem is? Everybody wants the next boy genius.
Well, here's the thing, I get that also, right? But sometimes, the guys that normally turn programs around are defensive guys. Now you're gonna have. I don't think that they have a discipline problem in Houston. I just think they got a talent problem. They don't have any pieces now. Now Pierce is a baller, you know. You get your quarterback. You already have your.
I think they got the tight ends. The tight ends are pretty.
Yeah. But
solid.
I mean, you could draft tight end. You could get. But I agree. The ones that they have are good, and some of the pieces on the line are not bad. They don't. Let's not act like they're just like the worst team ever. Like, because if you look at a lot of their games, they were in a lot of their games. They were in the Houston. I mean, it was in a Philly game. They was in the Dallas game. They was in I think they beat Tennessee. Whatever, they tied with the Colts and beat the Colts. So I mean, they've been in some games that they could have easily been they had 3 wins. They could have easily had 6. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we could go back to the tanking thing, right?
Well, let's get to the AFC because we got to make our picks there.
All right. So we got Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Cincy. And I want to go 20 to 12.
4 field goals
I think that Baltimore defense is tough. What concerns me about Baltimore is the offense.
Yeah. Because you don't know Lamar is playing.
Exactly.
So. And that's the reason why I am picking Cincinnati. And we picked the same. But I'm picking Cincinnati. But I think the game is going to look a lot like the game last week. I don't think it's going to be that close to the game. I mean, even if Lamar plays, he hasn't played in a month and some change. So I'm going with Cincinnati mainly because my second favorite quarterback in the league is Joe Burrow. But I'm not being biased. I'm being as honest as I can. I think that Cincinnati is playing some good ball, and they're gonna move past Baltimore. All right, Jacksonville and the Chargers. Just for the record, everybody. Scott said that Jacksonville wasn't that good just a few weeks ago, just a couple of weeks ago. He said Jacksonville wasn't that good. So, Scott, who are you picking?
I'm going with the Chargers.
Wow.
Yep, I'm going with the Chargers.
Wow.
My heart wants to go with Jacksonville, but I feel like the Chargers are just entirely too talented.
Now, Mike Williams might not play. He's hurt. He got hurt last week. Does that change anything?
But he still may play. He's been hurt. He's been hurt all year.
Not like that. He got helped off the field.
I think that Justin Herbert.
You got time to change your pick, Scott.
Nah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
The game is in Jacksonville.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
They're coming east.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
You staying with the Chargers?
Stay with the Chargers.
Yes. I'm going with the Jags. Can we place a bet?
Well, what's the bet?
I don't know. I don't even think we'll do dinner.
Okay, well, Okay, we'll do that. That's a good bet.
All right, so dinner wherever the winner wants to go.
Okay, nah, that's fair.
Yeah, I swear to God, if the Jags don't win this game, I'll never pick the Jags again.
So here's where they have the edge.
Mm-hmm.
The Jags have the better coach. We know that.
Yes.
At this point, the Chargers had the better quarterback.
Stop. Wait, what? Just like that? Why? He was better in college. He was better in high school. Like, what?
Trevor Lawrence is not better than Justin Herbert.
You're bugging. Yes, he is.
He is not better than Justin Herbert.
What this year is? What tells you right now that Justin Herbert is better than? I mean, because he's been in the league longer.
Consistency.
Whoa. I'm listening.
I mean, so look, right? Did he have a light him up, stellar superstar season?
Who?
Justin Herbert.
Okay, no.
Trevor Lawrence has figured it out at the right time. I'll give it that, right?
He went on a hell of a.
He's been.
And I do not hate Justin Herbert. I like Justin Herbert. I do. It just happens to just seem like I do not hate Justin Herbert.
I can't believe that this is even a conversation at the quarterback level. Now, can Jacksonville win? Absolutely.
Will they win? Absolutely.
We'll see about that. But quarterback, you don't think that they got the better quarterback? They got the better running back?
But they got Austin Eckler. So, yes, they have the better running back. Now, better running game? Nah, yeah, they got the better running back. I'll leave it at that. So, here's the thing. I know it was a stretch during the season where Justin Herbert looked mediocre and Trevor Lawrence looked like that guy.
It's toward the end of the season.
It was middle to the end.
Yeah, middle to the end.
Yeah, but I mean, and he was the reason that they were winning those games. Now, granted, their defense was balling. Like, I mean, Jacksonville got some ballers on that defense. Like, let's not sleep. You got Jenkins, you got Allen, you got. Go ahead.
So, Trevor Lawrence is obviously going to be a generational talent. Is he that today? That's a question. It's a debate for a different day. But he was a first round pick because he was projected to.
He was the first overall.
First overall.
Mm-hmm.
I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm.
First overall pick.
Right.
Because he's going to be right there one day with Peyton Manning, with Drew Brees. His potential is there.
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert, right now.
You better not. You better not. Hey, yo, Scott, be careful what you're about to say.
No.
Oh, my gosh, yo.
From a potential standpoint, has all the tools to be a great quarterback. It's just got to come to fruition at the right time. Will it be this playoff run? We shall see. But you talk about Joe Burrow, and you talk about how he's your guy.
That's my guy.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've talked him up so much, he secretly became my guy in fantasy football. He's made me a lot of money this year. But I say this, from a talent standpoint, we're not talking performance.
Okay.
We're talking arm strength and talent. They both have all the tools, man.
Okay.
And
all right.
I think
I don't disagree there.
I think it comes together. I think it comes together during this game.
Did you give your score?
I got the Chargers with 20. Now I'm gonna go 35. And I got the Jags 31.
All right.
I think it's going to be a shootout.
A shootout? When was the last time the score is going to be 35-20, man?
Watch, man. You're going to see it, man.
35-20. The Chargers aren't scoring that much against the Jags defense. I'm telling you that. I'm trying to tell you.
Justin Herbert he's gonna wake up and he's gonna realize this is his opportunity.
And his coach is gonna blow it for him. So that's what's gonna happen. His coach is gonna blow it for him. They're gonna lose 35-20.
Okay, all right, that's possible.
They're gonna lose 35-20.
Okay.
So all right.
So
you got last game.
Buffalo, Miami.
God. Okay, I'm gonna give my score first. I think it's gonna be Buffalo 41-3. It's go. I think. Hey, it's gonna be Buffalo in Buffalo. They might score 6. It might look like the national championship game.
So
and I know we didn't get to that. The reason why we didn't get to the national because there wasn't no national championship game, and it ain't worth talking about.
Nah.
But yeah, it's gonna be they're gonna bludgeon them.
So let me ask you this: has Tua played his last down as a Miami Dolphin?
All right, so no. I don't think that's the case. I think that what's gonna happen is he's not gonna get that contract. Worst case, I think that they franchise him. Because you can't really give him after what we saw this year, like without those concussions, he gets his contract. It is what it is. He's gonna be their franchise quarterback. But right now, I think that they're not gonna let him walk.
I don't think they're gonna franchise him. They're talking about $31 million for Tua.
Okay. They have the space, right? But I think that you can't give him a new contract yet. Not with the injury concerns. And I don't know if you necessarily go draft a quarterback. But actually they don't have no first round pick this year, do they? And we could check.
I have to look at it.
But my thing is, I think you're gonna have to address the quarterback situation. I think he's there next year, but I think they're super cautious with him, but I don't think that they just get rid of him. You think that he's gone?
Yeah, I think they're gonna make a decision. I think they realize they're in the win now mentality, right? Mm-hmm. We agree that this weekend is going to be ugly for them, right? But you look at all the talent that they have, and they're not going to want to waste that. So I do have one thing that I do want to say. Oh boy, it's about our buddy Aaron Rodgers. I am so disappointed in Aaron Rodgers. It's disgusting. And I'm shocked and appalled. I saw something. I don't know if you posted it. I don't know if our friend Ern posted it. But the young lady was talking about how Russell Wilson has been drugged through the dirt this year. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson, for all purposes, Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. If Aaron Rodgers was playing for the Cowboys, I mean, you wouldn't even imagine what type of criticism he would be taking.
You're saying he's been getting the pass?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's getting the pass.
It's called white privilege, but whatever. Yeah, no. He's definitely gotten the pass. I mean, it's I think that Aaron Rodgers is because I don't know if you noticed, like the last couple of weeks, I kept on calling him Brett Favre by accident, right? Because that's who he is. Brett Favre got so many passes. He won those MVPs and he's played well. I think he was in 2 Super Bowls, right?
He was in 2. Lost to John Elway. Yeah, and then he beat
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
So, I get that. But after that, he didn't really do a lot. I mean, he was a hell of a player. He made plays and things of that nature. Won a lot of games, but postseason wise, didn't get back to the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers has been in what, 1 Super Bowl or 2? He won one and lost one. He won.
Yeah, he lost to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. So their careers are so much alike that and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Brett Favre. They draft Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre feels a sort of way. Aaron Rodgers sits. Aaron Rodgers. They draft Jordan Love. He feels a sort of way. Jordan Love sits. I don't even know if they know what they're gonna do with Jordan Love. I mean, because you got to figure it out. Because he's just gonna let him walk.
Right.
You traded up to get him, and he's rarely played. Me personally, it's time for him to go. Like, even I mean, they got so much money tied to him. If I was them, I would find a way to trade him to a team that's just a quarterback away. You know, I know the Dolphins are probably going to go after Brady, but shoot, if you don't want to pay Tua, trade him, go get Aaron Rodgers or try. I mean,
they get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's a different ball game.
I mean, or they go after Jordan Love. I mean, but they're gonna have to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's necessarily the case. You know, I feel like Aaron Rodgers right now, he's coming off of back-to-back MVPs. So I think when you do something like that, you kind of earned a pass in a sense, but it just feels like he's never been held accountable for any of his actions, and it's showing now. And when they lost, you know, even before he counted that Detroit game as a win because they've been beating Detroit all these years. That ain't the same Detroit team, you know. And it's gonna be one of those where if I was Aaron Rodgers, make my decision immediately so I can move on. And because if I am going to another place, I've learned from this year that I need to be locked in with my receivers so we could be on the same page from day one. They weren't on the same. It pretty much took them 3/4 of the season to get on the same page. So they're gonna have to do something quickly. He should want to do something quickly. Whether if he's coming back, then he's coming back. Then they got to trade Jordan Love. They can't have them both on the roster. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the contract says Aaron Rodgers needs to come back to Green Bay, and Jordan Love has to move on because of the money situation.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it there. You know, we got places to be.
Oh, we're not done yet.
All right. Wow.
Nah, but one last thing, and because we hadn't talked about it, right? And I think I think we should talk about it. DeMar Hamlin, right? He came home today.
Yep.
He came home today. Thank God that he's good. I don't think it's important to talk about if he'll ever play football again. We could talk about that another day. I do briefly before we get out of here. Just want to get your thoughts on the whole Skip Bayless.
Oh, come on! I got it. I got so much. I'll keep it short though, just because I do got to get out of here. I thought it was tasteless. I thought it was gutless, and I didn't like how he doubled down on the statement instead of just saying, "Hey, you know, I made a mistake," just kind of owning it, apologizing, and kind of moving on. He was just adamant that he didn't do anything wrong, and it just really it rubbed me the wrong way, and it looked like it rubbed a bunch of people that way. Yeah.
And I think that timing is everything. I think if you make that statement at 9:30 the following morning or the following evening, then he doesn't get any sort of criticism. It's like, how we move on? And I know we're still fresh, but it almost took away from the young man being hurt. And that should have been the most important thing.
Yeah.
Phil. Skip lucky we didn't record last Wednesday, or he would have got the win of the week, man. But
absolutely,
Scott gotta get out of here. Y'all see him? He's shaking his leg and everything. So, but this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
All right, we out of here.
Anthony Adebayo.
with you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.